Country 107.3 welcomes you to exclusive coverage of Rochester Rhino soccer. Now, let's head to the stadium. Here's the voice of the Rhinos, Joe Giuliano.
We're coming to you tonight with the Rochester Rhinos and the Puerto Rico Islanders. For the Rhinos, they entered tonight's contest with a record of no wins and one loss after their season opener against the Carolina Railhawks last week. 1-0 Carolina, picking up the 3 points last week. For the Puerto Rico Islanders, they have a record of 1 win and no losses. They picked up a 2-1 win last week in a rematch of the 2008 USL First Division Championship game. The Islanders 2-1 winners over the Vancouver Whitecaps. So some sweet revenge in that game as the national anthem getting ready to take place at Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. I'm Joe Giuliano and joined by the new color commentator of the Rochester Rhinos, Pat Ercole. And Pat, doing things a bit different tonight from our beautiful Puerto Rico vantage point. How are you this evening?
Doing well. Obviously, we're having difficulty with the connection, but it seems like we're surviving through it.
We'll get it working before the night is through. There's no doubt about that. As the Rhinos coming off a tough one last week, 2 red cards. John Ball, Danny Earls out only for 1 game. They didn't get any more suspension. We thought maybe Earls would get a little longer, but he gets not a bad turnaround. 1 game, they're on the trip. They'll play a Sunday in Miami, but Philly's really going to shuffle his lineup.
No question. Obviously, you're dealing with a team that has done well in the CONCACAF tournament and did well last year in the final. Obviously could have won the league last year. They're coming into the season, obviously, in great game shape and a lot of confidence. So it's not going to be an easy game for the Rhinos this evening. If they come away with some points, that it's all a bonus.
Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium, the venue for tonight's game, not an easy place to play. You played there starting in 2003, and the enclosed roof at the stadium, all the sound seems to stay right in the park. Even if there's 2,000 people, it seems like there's 10,000 people.
Yeah, and they had a great, they played Cruz Azul there, and they had 14,000 people.
Can you imagine that crowd?
To be rocking.
Wow. I remember the first time in 2003, we walked the field on a game day, and Chris Economides was going to call the league. He was going to cancel the game because it was a combination of grass, dirt, and sand. The surface is much better than that now, but, at the start, Puerto Rico had some tough times.
It was difficult. I remember that particular game. There were torrential downpours. Actually, I think a hurricane went through before we got there, so the field conditions were pretty bad, and he had every right to call the league. But the game went on, and actually, I think we did well that game.
I think Doug Miller scored a penalty kick, and you guys won 1-0, if I'm not mistaken. As the Rhinos and the Islanders, the national anthems have taken place. And let's take a look at the starting lineups first for the home team, the Puerto Rico Islanders. In the net, 2008 USL Goalkeeper of the Year, Bill Gaudette. On the defensive row, it'll be Scott Jones, number 2, Nigel Henry, number 4. Also on defense, number 12, John Krause. And on defense, number 26, Christian Arrieta. He's one to watch. He loves to attack down the right flank. In the midfield, former Rhino, Noah Delgado. We'll get Pat's thoughts on Noah in a few minutes here. Number 20, Josh Hansen. Number 10, the USL and MLS veteran Peter Villegas. And number 15, Sandy Gabandi in the midfield, along with number 17, Andres Cabrero. This is a guy who is really high on the Puerto Rican soccer radar. We'll talk about him as we go on tonight. And up top for the Puerto Rico Islanders, it looks like it's going to be Nicholas Adlery. He scored 2 goals last week against his former team, the Vancouver Whitecaps. And the one you've all been waiting for, the starting lineup for the Rochester Rhinos. No surprise, in goal, it'll be Scott Vallow. Defensively, it'll be Kenny Burt, Brent Sancho, Nathaniel Short, and Darren Kenton. Across the midfield for Rochester, Johnny Manyanger, Ryan Hines, Chris Nurse, Mike Ambersley gets the start. And up top for Rochester, Ty Atieno and Mauricio Salas. The Puerto Rico Islanders wearing the all-orange jerseys. For the Rochester Rhinos, they're wearing the black and white striped shirts, the black shorts, and black socks. Puerto Rico will be attacking the goal to our right, Rochester defending to our right and attacking to our left. We are just about ready for a kickoff from Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium, known as JRL in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. The surface is much better. Atieno and Salas, they looked pretty dangerous last week, Pat, against Carolina. We'll see what they come up with tonight.
A lot of height up front. There's no question. We had a few opportunities last week in that department. Headers, they were shot. They were headed right at the goalkeeper, but we had those opportunities, and I think we can develop some opportunities with them tonight up front.
So kickoff coming up for the Puerto Rico Islanders with their two strikers. Adlery will be taking the kickoff. Looks like Delgado also standing side of him. And a nice muggy night in Puerto Rico. 85 degrees tonight. It's been crystal clear. We are underway in Puerto Rico. The Islanders with possession on the near side of the field. Touching the ball around. Here's Krause, the center back for Puerto Rico. Atiena with some early pressure. Plays on the outside to Arrieta. Remember Arrieta from last year. He scored the winning goal in overtime that actually sent Rochester out of the USL playoffs in the semifinals. And Arrieta, again, he'll be up and down that right flank tonight. And he's got a great resume. He's played in Italy, played in the Serie B. He also won a reality show, Campione El Sogno. It was a show that the winner got a trial with Inter Milan. Obviously, that didn't go too well.
No, it looked like it did. He's playing in Puerto Rico.
So Arrieta, interesting story there. But, yeah, he's with Puerto Rico. Didn't make it with, I think, Jose Mourinho looking for a different type player.
The Rhinos have a great chance to avenge their loss last week and also avenge the playoff loss last year. So, they just have to hold tight here in the first 20, 30 minutes and then gain a lot of confidence from that, and they'll be in good shape tonight.
The Islanders with a free kick, about 35 yards out, off of Johnny Manyaga, who's not the biggest of walls, but able to block it there for Rochester. Throw in now for Arrieta and the Puerto Rico Islanders. No score from Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. Joe Giuliano and Pat Erkley doing it the old-fashioned way, but we'll get it going here this evening as offsides called. Nicholas Adlery in an offsides position. Adlery had 2 goals last week, named to the USL Team of the Week, and now Scott Vallon will come out with a free kick for the Rhinos.
What a great start for him last week against his former team to come off with 2 goals and beat them 2-1.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. Defending champions, they let you go. Then you open up and 2 goals. Both those goals coming in the first half after Vancouver had a lead 2 minutes into the game. Adlery scored 2 first-half goals, and it ended up at 2-1. Over 5,000 fans last week in Puerto Rico. Another offside this time on the Rhinos. It'll be a free kick for the Puerto Rico Islanders, and taken a little too soon there. And, again, the dimensions in Puerto Rico, 115 by 75. It's an all-grass surface, if you want to call it that. But from what I recall about the field, walking on it, it seemed like a very heavy surface.
It was. Obviously, they're a island that obviously takes on a lot of rain, especially at this time of the season. So that makes it a little more difficult, especially to play in those conditions. But this is a great night here, and the field looks fantastic.
85 degrees, sunny, clear skies all week in Puerto Rico. And the Islanders getting some freshness coming down from Rochester as they're used to the cold, windy conditions. Throwing for Puerto Rico on the far side at Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. And the Rochester Rhinos against Kenton on the defensive starting position. John Ball, Danny Earls are out. So it looks like Kenton and Nathaniel Short will take the roles of 2 really excellent outside defenders who can't play tonight due to red cards.
Great opportunity for them to prove themselves.
That's true. It's a great point. Throwing for the Islanders on the far side in Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium, notorious for fans coming in late. And if you haven't been down to San Juan or Bayamon, Puerto Rico, traffic is absolutely atrocious. So fans come in late, and about 8:30 this place should be what you're going to see for the full crowd tonight. Here's a steal by the Rhinos. Atieno plays it to Ambersley on the near side. Crosses midfield, plays it down the flank, looking for Atieno. But Christian Arrieta will step in and break it up for the Islanders. Throw in for the Rhinos, about 18 yards out, right on the near sideline. Ambersley back to Short. He pops one in the air, top of the 18, and cleared away there by the Islanders. Ball's bouncing around. We're in the 4th minute. Here's Brett Sancho, the player assistant coach for the Rhinos. And there's a slip on the far side there for the Rhinos, and then it's going to be a throw-in coming up for Puerto Rico. Again, the field conditions will be an issue as Nurse lost his footing. Do you want to wear a longer stud on a surface like this?
Well, it's a great surface this evening. Obviously, if you have the opportunity to wear a stud, you'll have better traction, and you won't be having the slipping that's going on right now.
So some slickness on the surface in Puerto Rico as the Islanders trying to pick up win number 2 of the 2009 season. Here's Menander, tries to flick a ball forward. Atieno looks like he's the lone forward today for the Rhinos. We'll see if he gets some help from anyone else pushing up into the attack. Salas looks like he may be a little more withdrawn behind Atieno. We'll see how that plays out. There's a good ball on the far side for Adlery. Good slide tackle there by Brent Sancho. And it should be a corner kick coming up for the Puerto Rico Islanders, their first corner kick of the game. And that's really their first big foray into the Rhinos' half of the field. We're about 5 minutes in. Elgato, also very solid on these corner kicks. We'll see who gets it for Puerto Rico.
If I recall, last year the goal in overtime was from a corner kick.
I think it was on the same side, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Into the box, headed up over the bar, and the Rhinos able to deflect that one. There's some memories coming back for Scott Vallow and Christian Arrieta, but that time headed up and over the bar. Tonight's broadcast presented by AT&T Mobility. AT&T, your world delivered. Auction Direct, the lowest price, the best experience. Log on to auctiondirect.com. Game number 2 for the Rochester Rhinos, taking on the Puerto Rico Islanders. And it's been a tough start for Rochester. They've got Carolina last week, Puerto Rico this week, Miami on Sunday. 2 games in 3 days. And as a coach, Pat, did you like those kind of long trips?
Well, 2 games in 3 days isn't too bad, but when you get 5 in a week, it's difficult.
Oh, that has got to be brutal. That's when depth is, I think, is going to be a huge issue if the Rhinos get into a situation like that with U.S. Open Cup and regular season games. That could be a huge issue. We'll see how that plays out for the Rhinos this year. Here is Short. Plays it to Sancho away on the far side. There's a long ball up. Out of play right at midfield. Throw in for the Puerto Rico Islanders. Colin Clark, the head coach of the Puerto Rico Islanders and also the head coach for the Puerto Rican national team. And not a bad resume for Mr. Clark coming from MLS.
No. He's been a great coach in both leagues. I think he certainly could have done better in the MLS. Actually Dallas was doing well at that time. But of course, when you don't win, changes are made. And he then went on to Virginia Beach and had a short stint there.
Yeah.
The team folded real quick.
Didn't even coach a game. That's real short. There's a ball top of the 18. Islanders take a shot deflected by the Rhinos, but Villegas retains possession to Krause. Just inside of midfield. He's got Arrieta now. He's a right fullback. He pushes up into the attack quite a bit. Nigel Henry, the veteran who's been all over the USL First Division. Plays it to Jones. Scott Jones, number 2, also pushes up into the attack. Going to play as a midfielder as well. Cross into the box. Corner of the 18. Adlery gets a poor first touch on it, and it'll be cleared away by the Rhinos. Not too far, about 35 yards out to Scott Jones. High cross into the box. Up in the air is Darren Kenton. He clears it away for the Rhinos. Top of the 18 now. It's Short trying to clear it away. Puerto Rico's Villegas trying to keep it in the Rhinos' half of the field. A poor touch there for Arrieta. And a throw-in coming up for Ambersley and the Rochester Rhinos. Everybody on the trip for Rochester except for Chris Sanders, who's got the ACL injury. And Ball and Earl should be good to go on Sunday in Miami, and they're going to have another handful to deal with in Diego Serna, the USL Player of the Week, scored 2 goals, and looks like he's put up some gas left in his.
It looks that way.
The Colombian, out of soccer for a year or two now, he's back with Miami. We'll talk about him Sunday night. Here's Villegas, 35 yards out. He's got Johnny Menander marking him. He's forced to go over to Scott Jones. Back to Villegas. Touch there on the far side. Some soft pressure from the Rhinos. Cross to the top of the 18, headed away there by Nathaniel Short, also known as Nano Short. Long ball. He's looking for Ty Atieno. Nigel Henry with those long legs, able to outpace the newest Rhino, formerly of the Puerto Rico Islanders. Atieno yet to open up his account with the Rochester Rhinos. 9th minute, Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. Kenny Burks, solid in the air. He'll win almost everything that comes his way. Salas, cross field looking for Atieno. Henry's there with a poor clearance to Kenton. And here's Kenny Burts now. Just a little chip up over midfield. Ambersley with a lot of space here on the near side. Pushes to the center of the field. Menander, top of the 18. Still with the ball, Menander. A lot of traffic. Menander with a shot. Diving save by Bill Gaudette. And I don't know how Johnny Menander got through all that traffic, but he did and got a great shot away. Atieno back to Menander. And the header sails up and wide of the goal. But Johnny Menander, about 6 defenders in front of him. still got through and got a nice shot away.
Phenomenal shot and great save. Cadet made a great save. He's obviously shown that he's one of the best keepers in the league, and that was about 10 yards ahead, so it was pretty close, and he made a great reflex save on that.
You can see why he's the 2008 goalkeeper of the year, Bill Gaudette, with a 0.85 goals against average, 10 shutouts last year, 14 wins with a 27-year-old from Pennsylvania, making a big save there in the 10th minute. Johnny Manyager tried to score the first goal for the Rhinos in 2009, and this is a good sign. Here's Antieto. Struggles the ball a little bit, plays it back on the ground to Johnny Manyager. So dangerous with the ball at his feet. Not off far side.
Yeah, they did a great job of switching the field there and actually opening up space on the left flank and getting into the box. And it was a great finish. Obviously, it would have been nice if it was in the back of the net. But this is the type of play that will build some confidence, and obviously possession of the ball helps to build the confidence that we need right now.
I'm very surprised that that much space for Ambersley on the near side of the field. Hopefully the Rhinos can continue to exploit that. Here's
the time over play coming up.
Good forward run by Kenton. He's taken down at midfield. It'll be a free kick for Rochester. Darren Kenton, I thought that last week, had a solid performance in his debut for the Rochester Rhinos. And to see him get the start, very happy to see that.
Yeah, they did a great job. He was solid. And, again, I think last week being the first game, you're trying to get your game legs. You're trying to build some confidence. I didn't think we held possession of the ball as much as we should have. I think tonight you can see that we're starting to develop a little out of the back and gaining some confidence and building an attack from the back, which is what you need to do in the earlier stages of the season to be able to come into, especially going up against a team like this that's already been playing all winter long and playing in the CONCACAF tournament. But here we got a great opportunity, corner kick coming up.
Yeah, first corner kick, 12th minute, Mauricio Salas winning the corner kick with a long ball that was played to him on the near flank. Rochester with a corner. Movement in the box, deflected at the corner of the sixth, cleared away by Arietta. Sancho, he's pushing up into the attack. Ball's on the near flank, cut back by Ambersley. Inside the 18, left-footed, hard, driven cross. The Rhinos looking for a handball. The referee says, nope, we'll play on here. And Ambersley taking down Peter Villegas. It'll be a free kick for the Carolina Railhawks. And the referee talking now to the official on the near side here. Let's see what the call is going to be. Play is slowed down here. Puerto Rico Gaudette talking to the referee. And is there a discussion on this near side about a possible PK? Looks like everything is slowed down here. Looks like there's a player down. It'll be Arietta who's down, and the Rhinos will have a free kick. Sponsors of tonight's broadcast include Connolly Printing, the official printer of the Rochester Rhinos, Connors and Ferris, workers' comp and Social Security attorneys committed to serving Rochester's injured workers. Call 262-COMP today. And the distillery, at Ercles's favorite neighborhood gathering place. It's all good here. Looks like the Puerto Rico Islanders are back and healthy. Free kick for Colin Clark, who's also known as the General in Puerto Rico. And I guess when you coach the most successful, one of the only pro teams in the country and the national team, that's probably the appropriate nickname. Got that. Sends a long, high kick to the top of the 18. That Brent Sancho gets up and clears away. We'll actually speak with Brent Sancho at halftime. Don't miss that interview. I spent about half an hour with the player assistant coach, and he's got just great stories from his experiences in Europe and the 2006 World Cup coming up at halftime. Brent Sancho on tape, and it's a great interview. You won't want to miss that one. Again, here is Ambersley on this near side. He has got all sorts of time. Nice little foot forward to Atieno. High cross into the box, up and over the bar. Goal kick for Bill Gaudette and the Puerto Rico Islanders, who really have a nice start to the season. They've got a game at home last week, a game tonight at home, and they'll be home again next week. So 3 games at home to get their feet wet, and then travel on the road finally. But good opportunity to pick up 9 points before you leave home.
They actually look a little flat here this evening. They're not really playing up to speed like I saw in the CONCACAF games that they just recently played. We're getting a lot of space on the left-hand side. Ambersley's getting forward, and he's getting into the attack, and he's getting the opportunity to get that ball across and giving us some opportunities up front. So I think, we need to continue to expose this side of the field.
Is it fatigue possibly? If you said they haven't really had an off season, they've been playing all winter.
But, you know, they won last week against Vancouver. That was a big game for them, and sometimes after winning a game like that, you just come back and be a little flat. Here's an opportunity for us to maybe take advantage of that, catch them while they're sleeping.
Let's hope so. It'll be a great opportunity to pick up 3 points where you talked to a lot of people this week who thought Rochester, you don't have a chance in Puerto Rico, but last week I thought they looked pretty decent against Carolina, considering they were down a man for a huge portion of the match, and now tonight they've gotten the better of opportunities. Scott Velo has not been called upon, but maybe he will be now on the far side cross into the box at the 6th, headed back across the goal mouth and out of play. Scott Velo upset with the referee's assistant for not calling it out of play, but it'll be a goal kick for the Rochester Rhinos. Velo yet to make a save here in the 16th minute. Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. And, you know, you go to Cleveland, you go to Charleston, you go to these places, Pat, in the USL, it's business. When you go to Puerto Rico, especially you when you were the coach of the team, is it difficult to keep these guys in the mentality of, this is not vacation, this is work?
Yeah, it's always something you talk about, especially when we were going down there. You'd play 2 games.
That's right.
You'd play
a
Friday, Sunday.
They're for almost a week.
Yeah, you know, it's always difficult to win 2 games in a row, let alone at the same venue. And I think we were the only team to do it one year where we went down there and won both games. But, you know, we had a focus, we had a plan before we left, and we set a plan and said, you know, this is what we want to accomplish over the 2-game and the 3-day period. And we did it. Obviously, not everybody's capable of doing that, and we were able to do that. So, again, luck does play a little part in it sometimes. Obviously, if the officials make some call in your favor, like happened last week to the Rhinos and Cary, you know, that in a 2-game situation, you're losing 2 key players like we're missing tonight.
Yeah.
That plays a part in it.
Yeah, but you talk about officials. I remember in 03 and 04 when I covered for Don Stevens down in Puerto Rico, the referees were absolutely atrocious down there. It was a nightmare, and I don't know how you guys dealt with it, but credit to you and Franco Doy came away with the big points back to Rochester from the beautiful beaches of Puerto Rico. Long ball by Sancho into the Puerto Rico, 18, and cleared away. Here come the Islanders now, up over midfield, and it's stopped there by Nathaniel Short. Henry steps in, the big long legs win the ball for Puerto Rico. On the far side, the Islanders and the Rhinos are scoreless 17 minutes in to half number 1. Henry clears it up and over. Atieno will be a throw-in for Rochester about 40 yards out. And Rochester, Puerto Rico, overall, they've met 15 times in the regular season. Rochester 6 wins, 4 losses, 5 losses, and 4 ties. But last year, Pat, Rochester was 1-2 against the Islanders. Puerto Rico outscored the Rhinos 7-1. So there's got to be some payback on the minds of the Rochester Rhinos tonight.
And that's what you're dealing, a psychological advantage at this point. I mean, the Rhinos losing last week, losing in the playoffs last year, the type of loss they had last year, going into Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has a little confidence, so to speak, because of the wins they had against the Rhinos. And that's where you can catch a team. You know, they're overconfident sometimes.
Jonathan Steele not in the lineup tonight. He actually suffered a thigh injury in the CONCACAF Champions League game against CD Marathon. That happened at the end of February, so that's got to be a pretty serious injury. Didn't play last week, not playing tonight. Then you're talking about the 2008 MVP of the league out of the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he must have torn a muscle pretty bad.
So Colin Clark without his 2008 MVP, and Jonathan Steele, very interesting story. We'll talk about him as we go on through the broadcast tonight. Here's Delgado, top of the 18, fires a hard shot blocked there by Kenton, and Delgado trying to make something happen against his former team, the Rochester Rhinos. Throw into the box. Now Puerto Rico with some possession on the far side. Swerving cross into the box, flipped up in the air, and to the resting arms of Scott Vallow. Poor distribution there, though, as Arrieta gets possession back for the Islanders on the far side. Chipped into the box, and Sancho heads it away. So it's the top of the 18, and Darren Kenton clears it all the way down to the Puerto Rico half of the field. Philly up off the bench, redirecting traffic, and 20 minutes in, he's got to be content with what he sees so far. No score. Good opportunities for Rochester.
Yeah, I mean, going into the game like this, obviously, the longer it can go into 0-0 into the second half, the better opportunity there is to come away with a win. especially because Puerto Rico at some point is going to have to apply a little more pressure, and then it gives us an opportunity for a counterattack.
Here we come forward now for the Islanders. Gabandi to Arrieta. Good right-footed cross into the box, up over everyone, defenders and attackers. Left side, Krause with the cross, headed up and over the bar. It stays inbounds, actually. Rochester's Brent Sancho wins possession. Sends a long ball downfield, took a wild little angle off the header. And here comes Mauricio Salas, formerly of the Puerto Rico Islanders, and now with the Rochester Rhinos. He's 1v3. He loses possession to Scott Jones. Scott Jones now on the far side. In the middle of the field to Peter Villegas. Some of you MLS fans might remember him from the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, and he was a player who was either fantastic or awful for the Metro Stars. Long chip into the box. Another save for Scott Vell. That's his second of the game. 2 saves for Bill Gaudette as well. Menyanger looking for the long ball, trying to spring Atieno, but Nigel Henry, the veteran who's played for, I think, almost every single team, Hershey, Montreal, Charleston, Toronto, and Puerto Rico. A player, he's 32 years old. I'm sure you've seen him in your days.
Yeah, we used to put a lot of pressure on him.
We don't think the weakness. That's how he got the coach.
We used to enjoy playing against him.
What was the rap on him when you guys were scouting?
He likes to do this little cutback move. So we used to allow him to do it, and then we just close down the whole team and pressure him.
Beautiful. That's the insight. That's by Pat Erickley, is in the broadcast booth this year. That's great stuff to talk about some of the game plans with Nigel Henry and the Rhinos. Long boot up over midfield by Scott Vallow. Looks for Mauricio Salas, and he flips it back to Johnny Menyanger, and the player who's had the most space, Ambersley. Inside the 6 to Atieno, left-footed shot. He's knocked off the ball. Gaudette comes hard up off his line, makes his 3rd save of the game, but a good-looking ball there from Ambersley and Johnny Menyanger. Here we come now, midfield Puerto Rico trying to get some kind of attack going. And Menyanger, not the biggest of players, but he'll show you. He'll knock you off the ball. Mauricio Salas looking forward. He's got 4 orange jerseys in front of him, and that is a very wishful shot from about 35 yards out by Mauricio Salas. I mean, the angle not even close. He's about 35 yards out to the right of the goaltender, and
I think he hit the corner flag.
You might want that one back when he watches the video of it in the 22nd minute. But Salas, it's good to see him back in the lineup for the Rochester Rhinos, again, suffering an injury last year. He's healthy, and he's going at it again. And, when you guys played Puerto Rico in 2003, he was down there, I believe.
Yeah, he was there. He was tough to contend with. Obviously, we're laughing about that shot, but essentially he's got a tremendous
Oh, absolutely.
And those are the types of shots you want him to try to take, especially early in a game like this. You catch the goalie off guard and get a goal, go ahead.
We've seen Mauricio do some great things, and hopefully it'll continue for the Rhinos. Here he is again, Mauricio Salas. Fancy little back heel to Ambersley. Crosses at the 18. Atieno heads it straight up in the air. And Villegas knocked from behind, no call. Menyanger, top of the 18, cuts back to his left. Good through ball, doesn't get it through to Mauricio Salas, but Ambersley will take time and the space. Good cutback move. Gets around Arrieta. Left foot across into Marcus Hunter. And look at this one. It sails just off the post. What a great opportunity for the Rhinos. Atieno and Gaudette just sitting still watching that one. What an opportunity. Mike Ambersley talked about it, Pat. He has the time and the space.
But Atieno, I mean, he just shows again that he can get up for those headers. We're going to see a lot of goals from him, and especially if we go into good service in the box like that.
He had beautiful service that time from Mike Ambersley, and Coach Erickley, he nailed it on the head. Ambersley is finding a lot of space and a lot of time to serve balls in the box. Gaudette had his arms up in the air, and a good opportunity for the Rhinos in minute number 24, as they have had all the play in Puerto Rico this evening. Headed up, and look at the space. You'd think they'd make an adjustment, but Ambersley just keeps coming back. Delgado's chasing him. He's about 5 yards behind. Ambersley, right-footed shot. Saved by Bill Gaudette, punches it to his left. And this is an exposed opportunity that Mike Ambersley is making the most of right now. Another save for Bill Gaudette. He's made 4 saves. He's been very busy in the first half.
Ambersley's showing that he wants to be on the field, obviously, and he's doing a great job of it. Ambersley continues to play like this, he's going to have a starting position.
It'll be tough to keep out of the lineup. Ambersley missed the 2008 season with Atlanta with a knee injury during the preseason, so he's making the most of his opportunity now. Second corner kick for the Rhinos. It'll be Menyanger from the far side. Puerto Rico on the ropes right now in the 25th minute. Hard low cross to the top of the 18, right-footed shot into the arms of Bill Gaudette, and he's called upon to make his 5th save, and I think Mr. Gaudette's going to have some key words for his players at halftime. He's going to be upset.
Yeah, I mean, we're showing some great signs here. A big difference between this week and last week. You know, we're showing that confidence going forward, good possession of the ball, finding the open spaces. You know, we're compact as a team moving forward, so it makes it easier to attack. So we're doing a lot of good things. As long as we don't show any fatigue and we continue to be compact as a team, we'll do well.
Very entertaining to watch. Expected maybe a defensive shell from the Rhinos. Nope, you're not seeing that tonight. 4 shots on goal for the Rochester Rhinos. Actually, 5 shots on goal now. That has been very busy, and it's been a very entertaining 26 minutes from Puerto Rico. The Rhinos have the runners up on the ropes right now. Hopefully they can continue that. But here's Villegas springing free now on a counterattack 35 yards out. Looking for some help. Tries to play to the right side to Delgado. And Brent Sancho, the Trinidad international, reads the play well, breaks it up for the Rhinos. Plays it to Ambersley. Asiano checking back for the ball. Just at midfield. Here's Nurse to Burt, who's way out on the left side. Back in the middle to Darren Kenton. Had an 18-month contract offer on the table in England. Decided to give a go here to North America. Didn't stick with Toronto FC, but the Rhinos happy to pick up a player with his resume and experience. Islanders now 35 yards out. Touch Arrieta. Good cross into the box. Head on up off the crossbar. Valo's there. The rebound cleared off the line. It looks like it was Sancho to save the day for the Rhinos, and what an opportunity for the Puerto Rico Islanders as they come back with some power of their own.
It looks like somebody's down there. Somebody's not doing well there.
Looks like it's Short who's down. Maybe it was Nathaniel Short who was the one who cleared it off the line, but the header up off the crossbar, and that's some scary moments for the Rhinos as Puerto Rico shows that they can come back at any time with some firepower. You see Arrieta attacking down the right flank. Puts a beautiful ball into the box to Nicholas Adlery.
They're like a sleeping giant tonight. They look very sluggish. They're not like they're in the game or they're caring about the game. And then all of a sudden they turn it on like that and they create a great opportunity. Great clearance off the line. Great covering behind Scott. Scott came out and Short went in behind him and was able to recover that ball off the post or off the crossbar.
Unbelievable stuff. There's been a post in the first half. There's been a crossbar. And both goaltenders, goalkeepers excited to have their best friends be a part of the game so far tonight. Here's Ambersley. He and Salas playing it back and forth as Rochester still trying to get over that great header by Adlery, and really technically perfectly done. Headed hard and low and giving the keeper a lot of trouble. Mello and Short collided in the net, and that's what led to the situation there with Nathaniel Short getting injured for the Rochester Rhinos, but he's up and he's okay. Here's Delgado. Plays it in the middle of the field to Cabrero. Cabrero, 20 years old, and they say he is going to be one of the brightest prospects in Puerto Rican soccer, even a possibility to go to Europe. Long cross into the box, up, and on top of the Rhinos net, it'll be a goal kick for Scott Vallow. He's got his hands on his knees, and he's just breathing a sigh of relief in the 28th minute as the Rhinos dodge a bullet in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Colin's done a great job of putting this team together and finding the missing pieces to the puzzle. I mean, you know, they had to work on putting the best team forward for the CONCACAF, and now it's obviously going to roll into the season. But as you can see, you know, playing all winter long and then coming into a season, having played that many games, you're going to have a down period. And it looks like we may catch them tonight. They don't look as sharp as they have been over the last couple of months.
You know, add to the fact, too, that you're taking a chance in these championship games, these CONCACAF games. Johnny Steele gets injured. I mean, we're talking end of February, and Jonathan Steele is still out, so that's the chance to take as well, going deep into these cups.
Yeah, and, you know, but again, they did bring a lot of players. They do have the depth. Now they're just like us tonight, where we have some players on the field that are getting that opportunity to prove themselves, so do they.
There's Manyaga with a free kick for the Rhinos. Corner of the 18, right here on the near side. One-man wall for the Islanders. High service into the box, headed down, and out of play. It'll be a goal kick for the Puerto Rico Islanders. 29th minute, Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. Sponsors of tonight's broadcast include Freetime Magazine, available free or online anytime at freetime.com. Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack, the sponsor of the pregame show. The fun starts here. There's a streaking run by Noah Delgado. Ambersley up all over him, forcing him to go backwards. Delgado plays it inside top of the 18, and there's no call. Ball won by Sancho and the man, and we continue to play. Salas. Left-footed ball forward for Atieno. He's fighting with Kraus. Kraus plays it back to Nigel Henry. Gets a little poke on it before Johnny Manyager can get to it, but Mauricio Salas retains possession. He's got that left-footed shot looking for an opening. Chips it to the top of the 18. No one there except for John Kraus. Popped up in the air by Nurse. Wins the ball for the Rhinos on the far side. Nurse and Manyager. They almost get in each other's way. Ball deflected up off a Puerto Rico player. Another corner kick for the Rochester Rhinos. This is their third corner kick of the first half. We've played 31 minutes, and it is scoreless at Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. They're filling on the Rochester Rhinos, the second of 8 straight games away from home.
Again, we're getting forward, and we're limiting their space to get out of the back third, and we're creating the opportunities and getting corner kicks from them.
Younger slips on the corner kick, and it's cleared away there by Scott Jones. On rushing is Chris Nurse. He knocks a Puerto Rico player over, and Sancho neatly picks up the ball and plays it back to Scott Vallo. He's way out of his goal box. Plays it forward into the Puerto Rico territory. Up, headed in the air. Gaudette tries to keep it in bounds. And they're going to say, nope, should be a corner kick again for the Rochester Rhinos. And this will be the fourth corner kick of the game as Vallo with that long kick. We saw them score a goal last year with Salas and Manyager kind of combining off the long kick and almost happening again there. Salas getting up for the header.
I mean, this field dimensions is very similar to Frontier Field. So a kick from the defensive third could go practically into the 6-yard box.
He was there.
So
he was hit
the opportunity.
Let's see if the Rhinos get a clean service on the corner this time, Pat. As Manyager slipped earlier. This one sent into the box at the top of the 18. And it's a right-footed volley that harmlessly goes wide. Goal kick for the Puerto Rico Islanders, Bill Gaudette. We've called his name quite a bit. He's made 5 saves in the first half. The Rochester Rhinos season opener is May the 30th, 7:30 kickoff. The Montreal Impact come to town. Season tickets as low as $99. You can listen to all games as well this year right here at Country 107.3. Myself, Joe Giuliano, and the former coach of the Rochester Rhinos and USL Hall of Famer, Pat Ercole. Here we go, 33rd minute. Juan Ramon Lubriel in the foul by the Rhinos. Here's Villegas, 35 yards out, tries a hard right-footed shot, and it's deflected off the Rhinos, and no, it's off Puerto Rico. Looks like a goal kick coming up for Scott Vallo and the Rochester Rhinos. So Rochester traveling with John Ball, with Danny Earls. They'll be in the lineup on Sunday night as they take on Miami FC, who is in action this evening against the Montreal Impact. So I guess if you're a Rhino fan or even player, you kind of hope Miami and Montreal really have a knock them down, drag them out kind of battle. And Miami's right for the taking on Sunday.
No question. Obviously, you'd like to see them win that game also. Come in with maybe being a little overconfident and giving you the opportunity to get in there and steal some points.
Wait, you want to see Montreal lose? Is that unheard of? I sensed that just a little bit. Wow. Okay. I was a little surprised by that, I think. No, just kidding. But free kick down for the Rhinos. Ambersley on the near side, 34th minute. One-man wall. It'll be Arrieta. Colin Clark's going to have to do some juggling at halftime to get the Islanders to wake up. Free kick now, Ambersley taking his time. Rochester pushing some numbers forward. Salas, Atieno, Verth, a huge target as well. Driven to the 6 and cleared away there by Kraus. Slipping is Nurse. Plays it to Sancho. Chip into the box. No one there. Arrieta pops it up over his head with the right foot. And cleared away. A little collision there. We play on. The referees let him play tonight. There's been some contact, and he's kind of let him go either way. And he does finally call a foul after the first contact, and the Rhinos with another dangerous free kick here.
And here's another great opportunity. Again, the first kick was very similar. We had it A ball coming in from right to left into the 6-yard box. Didn't get the height it needed, and here's a great opportunity to try it again.
This will be to the right of Bill Gaudette. 35th minute. Mauricio Salas is about 20 yards away from the ball. Menyanger also taking a peek. 3-man wall. Menyanger, right-footed chip at the corner of the 6 and headed away by the Islanders. The referee says, nope, we're going to do it again. Wait for the whistle. As Menyanger a little too anxious to call the play there, and Puerto Rico wants that to stand because they'll win a goal kick on the play. But no, Rochester gets a second chance, and the way that one turned out, they're lucky to get a second chance.
Well, that's right. I mean, Tieno and Salas, they have to get in there. And, it was a nice little ball by Johnny. It was at the top of the 6. And then when it curved towards the goal that way, even if you miss it, there's an opportunity they could go in. But you got to get bodies in there, so you kind of confuse the goalkeeper.
There's Menyanger. He'll get a second opportunity here. Salas is still with him. We should maybe convincing Johnny to have it go in it. Left-footed hard shot right into the wall. Salas gets another look at it, and he drives it right into the saving arms of Bill Gaudette as Mauricio Salas got the second run of it there for the Rochester Rhinos. Gaudette with the punt. It'll probably just go up over midfield and drop right there for Mauricio Salas. Adlery comes in with the elbow. No call there. Delgado's taken down right at midfield. Throw in for the Puerto Rico Islanders. 36th minute, and what a half it's been for the Rochester Rhinos. Opportunities looking good for Rochester. Adlery hasn't received a lot of the ball. He's coming all the way back for it. Now plays it about 35 yards out. Here come the Islanders now switching to the far side. Cross back into the box, and it takes one hop into the midsection of Scott Vallow. So Rochester in the air, if you're going to play up the middle, you got to deal with Sancho and Kenny Burst, and those are two strong competitors up for those high balls.
Well, you have a solid 3 there with Vallow and the 2 of them in the back there. It's a great triangle.
Then Kenton, Ball, Earls. There's some nice options for Coach Tilley to work with so far with Ball and Earls out. Kenton and Nathaniel Short have done a very nice job filling in for the regular starters and outside backs for the Rochester Rhinos. Punt up over midfield, deflected out of play by the Rhinos, throw in for Puerto Rico. On the far side, it's Krause. Nigel Henry now, the central defender, likes to stay central. Is Villegas, got some time to turn at midfield. He's taken down from behind. We'll have a foul called there by the Rhinos, Johnny Menyanger. The 2 number 10s battle there at midfield. Free kick for Puerto Rico, 38th minute. And the Islanders trying to pick up win number 2 of the 2009 season as they open with 3 straight home games. No score from Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. The 2 number 10s get tangled up as Villegas from Ecuador and Johnny Menyanger from Liberia. As we're getting back to action here in Puerto Rico, the restart. Up, out of bounds, goal kick for the Rochester Rhinos. Vallow flicks it forward, coming through is Mauricio Salas, and a good defensive play by the Islanders to come back and knock him off the ball. It'll be another corner kick for Rochester. Corner kick number 5. This time it'll be the first one coming from the near side as Rochester late in half number 1 trying to make something happen here.
Again, the more opportunities, more chance of getting the ball in the box, and especially with the height that we have in there, and we're getting people forward in for these corner kicks, it gives us an opportunity to maybe get a goal here before the half.
Salas right on top of Bill Gaudette, right on the goal line. Corner kick is called in by the official. Goes short to Ambersley. Sends a high one up in the air. No one there for Rochester. Cleared away by the Islanders, but Sancho is first to the ball. And he plays it forward out of bounds, looking for Atieno. A little too much there for the Rhinos. I'm surprised they went short.
It's disappointing. I mean, you get the opportunity to put the ball in the box. You got all your tall players in the box. Everybody's come forward. Everybody's ready for that cross, and then we play something short, and we don't get the ball in there.
I agree, Coach.
You need to put it in there and get those opportunities, especially when you work so hard to get into their end of the field and get a corner kick from it.
It's the 5th one. If Rochester picks up any more in this half, about 5 minutes left, plus stoppage time. No score from Puerto Rico. The Rhinos overall have had a good half. Throwing for the Islanders at midfield on the far side. Fans starting to file in. A little thicker crowd here than we saw at kickoff. As again, traffic an absolute nightmare here in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. The converted baseball stadium, now the home of the Puerto Rico Islanders. Good cutback move there by Scott Jones. Gets inside the Rhinos box. Still on out, played back outside. Scott Jones with the ball, 2 defenders on him. He still has possession, cuts back to his right foot. Now to the top of the 18. Here's Arrieta. Pushing forward, cuts back to his right, and Ambersley reads it like a book. He comes forward for the Rhinos. He's taken down. And let's see if there's a call or not. No, it'll be a throw-in for the Puerto Rico Islanders. No, we'll say there's a foul now coming up. The referee says, yep, let's play it out. Arrieta and Atieno, 2 former, that is Kenton, kind of fighting for the ball in front of the 4th official. No harm, no foul there. The 4th official there to restore peace and order. And it will be a throw-in for Kenny Burtz, who has a bomb of a throw, and we'll see if he gets an opportunity deep in Puerto Rico territory tonight to put one in there. Here is Krause. Scott Jones. Puerto Rico, you got to really crack the Rochester defense besides the one header by Adlery. It's been all action in Puerto Rico's half of the field. Scott Jones throwing it forward to Adlery. Nice job there by Sancho to step in. Forced it out of bounds. Throw in for Puerto Rico. 42nd minute.
Yeah, we have to be careful here. Looks like some guys have their heads down. They're walking down. They're a little fatigued. And, there's 3 minutes left. We really have to be focused here in the last minute and not give away.
Actually, it's going to be a free kick instead for the Islanders. On the far side, Peter Villegas up over the ball.
45 minutes down, 45 to go. This is the Country 107.3 halftime show. Let's head back to the stadium and the voice of the Rochester Rhinos, Joe Giuliano.
All right, we are connected. We are back with you now live on the radio broadcasting equipment that we pay so much money for, and it's finally working. No score, Rochester and Puerto Rico. The halftime show brought to you by Marina Dodge. Joe Giuliano with Pat Erkley. And the venue tonight is Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. Rochester with a very good first half. And defensively, the following player has had a very strong 45 minutes. Brent Sancho, who's been brought in as a player and assistant coach for the Rochester Rhinos. And we talked to Brent Sancho earlier this week and got his thoughts on his adjustment to life in Rochester.
It's been good so far. It reminds me of Dundee, any north of UK, obviously with the weather being a bit cold, but it's been good so far. I think the management and staff has been really welcoming. The people has been really warm, and it's been an easy adjustment.
The organization obviously very receptive to what you can bring to the table. Signed as a player, then elevated to player assistant coach. How's that whole situation been?
To be fair, I spoke to the gaffer about it a couple of times leading up into my contract negotiations, and then, when I got here, we wanted to see how it went. I did a bit of coaching when I was back in Trinidad last year with Northeast Stars, and it went well for me then, and I really enjoyed it. It's something, obviously, as a player, when you're playing, you don't really think about. So, obviously now, playing and with the experience I have, he asked me to come on board, and it's a great opportunity for me, and also to be able to play and learn under Darren as well has been tremendous thus far.
What about your future? Do you see coaching in your future?
Well, it's hard not to say no, because I think as a player that's one of the obvious solutions. It's good to have this kind of experience under your belt, and I think it's one of those situations where you can't say no. It's a great experience for me. Down the future, I don't know what's going to happen, but if it does come about and I have that experience, I'm willing to take it with both arms.
Last year you were brought into Atlanta to kind of bolster their defense. They were having a lot of trouble, did a great job there. You came into Rochester, I believe, for your first game. As an outsider looking into Rochester, what were your thoughts of the Rhinos?
It was good. I've played against Rochester before. I went to the UK, and I've always had great respect for the organisation. I went to university right down the road in St. John's. So Rochester is always a team that you hear about as well. And one of my good friends, the deceased Mickey Trotman, was played here as well. So there's always a club that I kept tabs on. And I did well, and as you said last year, my first game here was big for me as well, and it was a great experience. And despite we lost, it was still a good experience for me coming here and playing. And it's one of the franchises that I think that sets the standards, or set the bar when it comes to USL teams.
You talked about playing in the UK, England, Scotland, probably the best leagues in the world. Talk about that, how that helped your game.
It was just tremendous experience. I mean, I left from Portland and I went over to Dundee, and it was a massive jump for me. It was just the first 6 months was just getting used to the pace of the game and the different style of football there. And to be honest with you, it's just a world and a gulf apart. But at the same time, you can see the gulf where it could be closed. So it was one of those situations. Once I started learning it, and applying some of the stuff that I've learned here in the USL before I went over, and then obviously the experiences going on, it was a great experience. I mean, I couldn't ask anything else. Playing in Celtic Park and down at Ibrox as well, with Rangers, it's just been tremendous, and it's something I'll cherish the rest of my life.
So the pace of the game is faster, more physical as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you're talking about teams high pressing for more than 90 minutes. The fitness levels are different, and just the technical level is a bit different as well. But in saying that, I mean, the USL teams I think have improved as well since I've been away. Obviously, the likes of Puerto Rico and Montreal doing well in the CONCACAF Cups is a definite sign of that. And I think it's one of those leagues where I think it's improving gradually and steadily, and even not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well. I think the organisational levels in some of the clubs has been tremendous, and I commend a club like Rochester that to me shows the kind of level of professionalism that you see in England and in Scotland.
Now, even a higher level than England, Scotland, the World Cup 2006. You've got 43 caps with Trinidad and Tobago. Talk about playing in the 2006 World Cup.
I mean, to be honest, leading up to obviously I was injured coming in. I wasn't sure if I was going to play. Then one of the boys got injured leading up to the first game, and then I got the call and ended up having 3 good games at the World Cup. And I mean, it's an unbelievable experience playing against the likes of Rooney and Gerrard and Abramovich and whatnot. And to be honest with you, it's something that I still pinch myself. I haven't had a chance to watch any of the games since the World Cup.
Really?
So it's one of the things I think once I kick the boots off and I retire from football, is the first thing I want to do is watch it. So, but in saying that, it's an unbelievable experience, and it's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
So when you're in that tunnel before you walk out onto the pitch for a World Cup game, what's going through your mind? What does your body feel like?
It's just weird. I think, to be honest with you, we're so psyched for the games, and because we prepared so well for the games, I think it was so difficult to concentrate on the fans and the actual magnitude of the entire cup, because our game plans were so spot on. It's just one of those where you just don't let him turn to his left, do whatever, and that's what was on your mind.
Is Brent Sancho, the player assistant coach for the Rochester Rhinos, and what a great interview that was. World Cup experience. Also spent some time over in the UK. We're scoreless after 45 minutes. The halftime interview brought to you by Connolly Printing. We'll come back with more on the Rhinos. Joe Giuliano and Pat Erkley. No score after 45 minutes, the Rhinos and the Puerto Rico Islanders. And don't forget, Rochester's home opener May 30th against the Montreal Impact, 7:30 kickoff. And season tickets are now available for as low as $99. That's right, the season home opener May 30th, the Montreal Impact coming to town to take on the Rochester Rhinos. As far as next away game, it'll be Sunday night, and it's coming to you from Lockhart Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The new home of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, Miami FC Blues. They'll be playing there, and also FIU. Hopefully Soccer Sam made it to FIU this evening. He went to Florida Atlantic University, called me at 7:30, and said there's no game here. So Sam, FIU, not FAU. So hopefully he made the hour-and-a-half drive down to FIU. But at 6 o'clock kickoff, 5:30 pregame show on Sunday. And looking back to Lockhart Stadium, you look back at the Fort Lauderdale Strikers of the North American Soccer League, and what a great venue that is for soccer in Florida and in the country.
They actually improved it from when it was the Fort Lauderdale
Did you ever play
Strikers.
there?
Oh yeah, we played there. We had some great games there, and they brought over some tremendous players. Mueller from Germany.
Oh, yes.
So they had some great talent, and we had Julio Balan.
Julio Chico.
We had one game there where he dribbled through the whole team and then hit the post.
Wow. And speaking of hitting the post, they had a great goalie in Jan van Beveren, the Dutch international keeper.
So, I mean, we had some great games there. And then they actually improved the venue. They brought in more stands. They made it actually a little more cozier. So from a standpoint of a good facility for soccer, there's definitely one that was improved for that
hopefully
region.
that helps Miami FC and gives them some stability and strength. As people talked about, they had only 2 weeks in the preseason to get ready, very similar to the Rhinos last year. And hopefully for the Miami FC Blues, it gives them some stability, draws a bigger fan base as the team's getting ready to come back onto the pitch here at Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. And, Pat, in that first half, the Rhinos, surprisingly, I guess, for some fans, huge opportunities. Looking at the stats from half number one, they had a bunch of corner kicks. They had 5 corner kicks to 1 for Puerto Rico. Shots, Rochester 5, 4 for Puerto Rico. And saves, 6 for Bill Gaudette and 4 for Scott Vallow. But Rochester, I think, probably with the better of the opportunities.
Definitely, and, there was one opportunity there. Obviously, we scaved a possible goal against us, but essentially we had the run of play in the first half. I think we need to be careful here going into the second half, like last week in the first game where we came out a little flat and we gave up a goal right away. We have to realize that going into the second half, that first 20 minutes is critical, especially playing away from home, and we have to be solid and tight as a team. And then after that 20 minutes, we'll get some more opportunities. You got to understand that Colin Clark's going to make some adjustments here, and he's obviously going to go into halftime telling his team, you didn't play well. You played flat. You got to pick it up, and he's going to maybe instill some players that are going to create that spark for him. And we just have to be smart about it in that first 20 minutes. On
the bench for Colin Clark, he's got Chris McClellan as the backup keeper, James Marceline, Alexis Rivera, Martin Nunez, who's 5'5", but boy is he a crafty player, Fabrice Noel, Kyle Veras, and Kendall Jagiosing. We'll see if any changes are made as we get ready to kick off half number 2. The Rhinos attacking the goal to our right. Puerto Rico giving Rochester the kickoff here in the second half. No score. Half number 2 just about to get underway. It's Salas and Atieno at the center circle kicking off for the Rhinos. Referee getting his official count on for the first half or second half here. Is the referee 11? Yep, 11 there, and we go to begin half number 2. Long ball into the Puerto Rico half of the field, and it's out of bounds on the far side of the field. Throw in for the Puerto Rico Islanders. And for the Rhinos, again, game number 2 of the year. They'll be in action on Sunday night as they head up north to Miami. I know it sounds funny, but yeah, Puerto Rico's got a team now in the USL First Division, and it is a beautiful trip down there, a long one, but again, business at hand to pick up the points against the Islanders. Throwing on the far side as the Islanders looking for some possession here to Peter Villegas right in the middle of the field. Plays it now to Kraus. Here comes Scott Jones pushing forward on the near side. He's marked there by Short. Delgado comes in. Tries to put the ball behind his heel. It's off the Rhinos, and it'll be a corner kick for the Puerto Rico Islanders, who come out with some pressure here in the second half.
That's a crucial kick. Again, the same thing right at the beginning of the second half. You can't give away anything.
Then Younger deflects the cross attempt there by Peter Villegas. Another corner kick for Puerto Rico. They went short with the last one. See if Rochester defends it. And Puerto Rico now looks like they'll be forced to go with a long service into the box. The Islanders with some good options as well. Adler can do good in the air. Henry also a big target, headed up in the box, and it's up at the 6. No one there, headed away now by Sancho. Menyanger gets the right-footed flick on it and clears it out of danger, but it's still possession for Puerto Rico. On the far side, Noah Delgado steps back to his left. Plays it on the far side, on the flank there, one-on-one Ambersley and John Kraus. Things slowing down now. Picked up again. Delgado chips it forward. Kraus is onside. Cuts it back to his right. Ambersley, a good bit of defending here, closing down the crossing lane. Nothing for Kraus on that far side. Drives a hard low cross. Looks for Adlery. He is bothered there by a Rhino defender, and it's cleared out of bounds. Another corner kick, Pat, coming up for Puerto Rico. This is their third corner kick in the first minute of the second half.
Yeah, they've obviously picked it up a little bit. That's why I say it's really crucial, that first 20 minutes. And again, if we can get through that 20 minutes and have a good mindset, then we'll get some opportunities going forward.
Far side corner kick for the Islanders. Movement in the box. A high cross to the corner of the 6, headed up. Dropped down, a right-footed volley, deflected up off of Nano Short. And no, they'll say it'll be a goal kick coming up for Rochester. Looks like a right-footed shot that deflected off Nano Short, but I think it was the swerving of the volley that sends it out of play. Goal kick for the Rochester Rhinos. Tonight's game is presented by Nothnagel Realtors, Rochester's full-service realtor, Health Source Chiropractic, your partners in complete health, and the Harrow East Athletic Club, located at 400 Andrew Street in Rochester. Rochester's best-kept secret, the Harrow East Athletic Club. Here come the Rhinos now off the Scott Vallow goal kick. Short is pushing forward on the near side. Tries to keep it in bounds. Tough challenge there, shoulder to shoulder. And the Islanders come away with the ball as Hines is knocked off the ball for Rochester. Checking back is Adlery. Sancho comes in hard with the arms, and it'll be a foul. Sancho, Adlery, they've been battling all night long. And like I said, Pat, in the first half, deja vu. Bundu was marked very tight last week, and now we're seeing the same thing with Nick Adlery.
Yeah, they've done a great job at the back. It was a shame last week to give up the goal that we did.
Yep.
But they're doing a great job this evening.
Headed away, out of bounds on the far side, about 35 yards out. It'll be a throw-in for the Puerto Rico Islanders. No long throw options there, as they'll just go short. Villegas checks back, plays it one touch. Back to Kraus. One there by Johnny Manyanger to Darren Kenton. Here's Salas. Players all over his back. He's forced to go to the far side to Mike Ambersley. Sat out the entire 2008 season. He is back into the lineup now with Rochester. Here's Hines on the near side, corner of the 18. Tries to turn the corner, gets the right-footed cross off, and it goes off the side netting as Ryan Hines, coming here last year from Harrisburg, joined them on loan. He played 5 years in the PDL, and he really has showed a great deal of talent last year, and he's earned himself a nice contract with Rochester in the 2009 season.
You know, you can see Rochester, when they switch the ball from one side to the other, that there's a lot of room to play with. In the first half, we saw it on the left-hand side with Ambersley, and we just saw it on the right-hand side. So when the opportunity is there to switch the ball, we're creating the one-on-ones or the two-on-ones on the opposite side of the field where we can get forward and deep into our offensive third. And that's, I think, how we're going to get our opportunities.
Now, Pat, is that a matter of maybe that outside defender on the far side not tracking back?
Well, I think what's happening is, on the Puerto Rico side, I think he's given the freedom to his midfielders to go forward, and they're going forward, they're just not tracking back. And the pressure's being put on the opposite side of the field, but when the ball's switched, there's a lot of room to play with.
So the demand on an outside midfielder, not only the attack side of the field, but defensively, it's a huge responsibility.
Certainly. I mean, in this case, the opposite side of the field in both cases, the first half and the second half. But again, I mean, if the pressure's applied properly on the opposite side of the field and the ball doesn't get the opportunity to get switched like that, that makes it easy. But as you can see, they're not really putting the effort in that they have in their CONCACAF games and maybe in their first game of the season. It doesn't look like Puerto Rico's really going in there with a lot of speed, a lot of pressure. So it gives us the opportunity to be able to switch the field.
Well, big opportunity for Rochester now on a corner kick on the far side. Ambersley. Good serving ball at the 6, headed away. Top of the 18, and Younger goes for the right-footed volley. Just doesn't get through the traffic there. Throw in for the Rhinos. 53rd minute from Puerto Rico. No score. Johnny Manyanger checking back to receive the ball. Won't get it. As the referee setting it up again. Looks like Kenny Burt's now. We talked about him in the first half. He's got a very long throw in. It's a good opportunity to send one deep in the Puerto Rico box. And there comes Burt's to the corner of the 18, headed away there by Kraus. And now Scott Jones plays it forward. And the referee calling a foul. Kenny Burt's getting a little ride on the back. And he gets a free kick for Rochester. Played quickly by Ambersley to Kenton. To Brent Sancho. Plays a one-timer into the corner. And no one there for the Rhinos. Everyone checking towards the ball. And I'm not sure what the call is, offsides or what, but everyone seemed to stop on the play there. As Puerto Rico now with possession on the far side. Here's Kenton in a foot race. Knocks it out of play. And we'll have a corner kick for the Puerto Rico Islanders. And it's 6 for Rochester, 5 for Puerto Rico, and 11 corner kicks overall. You wonder when one of these corners is going to break the scoreless draw.
Well, it was key at Frontier Field for us, and also in a field like this where the dimensions are smaller.
Good point.
It creates more opportunities from a free kick standpoint, corner kicks, free kicks, throw-ins. So with those set pieces, if you really work on them, then you can get a lot of goals from them.
Good point. You guys were masterful at Frontier Field, and I'm sure teams came in and they probably dreaded coming to Frontier Field, and you guys used that to your benefit.
Well, they definitely watched the tapes, and as the years went on, they obviously got our little tricks, made it more difficult to score. But if you execute, I mean, we had a great with Stoyan and Lennon Steenkamp. They connected very well, and we had a lot of good finishes from them. Carlos Zavala obviously played a great ball.
Yeah.
So again, if you know what you want to do and you execute, the other team just can't cover it.
You're bringing up some great names from the past: Lennon, Stoyan, and Carlos Zavala, great members of the Rochester Rhinos, and really helping bring the team to where it is today. Of course, Pat, yourself, and Franco Doy, and Pancho Escos. What do you hear from those guys these days?
They're enjoying life and retirement. Pancho I think he's in Florida right now for vacation. So
good for him. Well deserved. My favorite Argentinian, Pancho Escos. Actually, his wife used to be my boss. She was the principal at our school. And all we talked about was soccer. I don't think we talked about work. But the free kick coming up for the Puerto Rico Islanders, 56th minute, no score. If Rochester gets out of Puerto Rico tonight with a scoreless draw, it is a good point. It'll be the first point of the year for the Rochester Rhinos. 3 would be a dream. We'll see if Tilly and the boys can come out with that goal tonight. Gaudette, high goal kick, played forward. Salas just a step behind the ball, and Villegas, some crafty chip up over the player and wins possession here for Puerto Rico. Scotty Jones coming forward. On the near side, Delgado slips but still gets the ball forward to Jones. Back to John Kraus. He comes back to the near side and looking for some help there. Puerto Rico with possession. It's Cabrero, number 17, loses it, tries a fancy back heel there. And Hines says, thank you very much. We'll come forward with it. Cabrero, the 20-year-old, plays all over the midfield. He's playing on the left side tonight. Father was a basketball professional. He's played with the Puerto Rico national team, 6 games played and 1 goal scored for Angel Cabrero, wearing number 17 for the Islanders. And it's good to see some talented players coming out of Puerto Rico and looking for a guy like that with a huge future.
Well, with Colin Clark being the head coach of the national team, he obviously has to prepare that team also. So he has to give a talent like this opportunity to be on the field, to get game time and to get game experience. And so he's obviously wearing 2 hats tonight as a coach.
Good to look at this club team and his national team at the same time. Gabandi with a free kick from the near sideline, number 15, Sandy Gabandi, the 25-year-old Liberian. And check this out, Pat. He played 4 years of high school soccer and football. Wide receiver, cornerback, and punter. Gabandi will be on the free kick here.
I like his number.
Yeah. And if you're just wondering, number 15, famous number for Pat Erkley with the Rochester. Was that your number indoors as well?
Actually, I kind of fluctuated between 11 and 15.
Even outdoors?
Outdoors, I may have. But when I went to Jacksonville, I was in Jacksonville, I think I had number 11.
With the T-Men?
The T-Men in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, man, those North American Soccer League days, I tell you. Nothing like it. Oh, chipped into the box, and Atieno forces Gaudette, and he says, nope, they're going to play on. Gaudette says the ball was in the box, his body was out, and that's a dangerous opportunity there.
Very close, very close.
Here's Delgado.
I think we got away with one there.
Here's Adlery. Plays it to Cabrero on this near side. Cabrero's one-on-one with Hines. Gets around the corner, serves a left-footed cross into the box, and it's sailed just wide as the Rhinos dodge a bullet there as Peter Villegas was pushing in, trying to get the ball that was served back to the top of the 6th. Still no score in Puerto Rico, 60th minute. Rochester looking for any sort of points here tonight. They've got 1 game under their belts, a 1-0 loss to Carolina as Scott Velo gets ready for the goal kick. In 2008, Scott Velo had 11 wins, 10 shutouts. Another great season for the Rhinos captain, Scott Velo. Long kick up over midfield. Salas knocks Villegas off the ball. It'll be a free kick for Nigel Henry and the Puerto Rico Islanders. Scott Jones, who's had a lot of touches here in the second half. Sends one into the box. Velo comes out with the punch, top of the 18, and it's tried to chip over there by Villegas, but Velo just makes himself huge, and it comes up with the big save for the Rhinos. Here's Cabrero. Cross into the box. Delgado, one-on-one with Hines on the near side. Velo looking for some more defensive support. Play to the corner of the 18. Sancho reads the play well and breaks it up for the Rhinos. Sends it long, looking for Atieno. And Gaudette reads the play well. What a save by Scott Velo. Two great saves.
That's huge, huge. He came out very well, made himself big, and obviously the ball was hit. He gave very little angle to the player, so, he forced the play right into his body.
Two big saves from Scott Velo. We saw that from Bill Gaudette in the first half. Scott Velo returns the favor now as he stops Villegas from the top of the 18. A crafty little chip there, but Velo gets himself huge and makes the save for the Rhinos. We are still scoreless in the 61st minute.
So you can see now that Puerto Rico's starting to pick up the game a little bit more. Like I said, they looked a little flat in the first half. I think they're starting to get their game legs in this particular game, and maybe because of last week, who knows how their training sessions went this week. The stress that their bodies may have taken over the winter because of playing the CONCACAF, and all of that maybe playing a part in that first half of having a flat first half. But you can see they're starting to pick it up a little bit here.
Didn't you mention something last week about the 60th or 65th minute being a crucial point of the game? Do you still see it that way this week?
I always look to make my substitutions were being made at that point. You always give, and again, depending on the particular game.
Sure,
but if the team's playing well, you want to be able to go out into the second half and give the team that goes out at least some time to try to develop something. And around the 60, 65th minute mark, you can look to make some changes and maybe bring a spark into the team.
Delgado with a left-footed cross there. It looks like he and Cabrero have switched sides. Cabrero on the right side. Delgado now has come to the near side. He gets the left-footed cross in, and Hines did a great job on Cabrero. He was very quiet in the first half. Now he's coming around here in the second half. Henry trying to fight off Atieno. Heads it back to the goalkeeper, Bill Gaudette. Atieno, interesting situation. Played with Puerto Rico for 2 years. Then he was traded to Charleston in the offseason. He was released by the Battery and then signed by Rochester for the 2009 season. So a big pickup for Atieno, yet to find the back of the net and open up that goal-scoring account here in Rochester. Throw-in for the Islanders, 63rd minute.
This would be a great place for him to do it, actually.
Yeah, imagine the payback that he would bring to his team, the former team, the Puerto Rico Islanders. Actually scored a very historic goal in the Islanders' history, helping them advance in the CONCACAF Champions League. Here's Villegas, top of the 18, takes a left-footed shot, and it's right into the midsection of Scott Velo. Takes 2 steps to his right, and a routine save for Scott Velo, who has been called upon 8 times this evening to make saves, and it's been a much busier second half. As Coach Erkley has mentioned, Puerto Rico has woken up here in half number 2. Far side, Nigel Henry. Long clearance. Sancho gets up in the air, wins the header. There's Nurse. Now settled there by Nicholas Adler. He tries to keep possession. He is taken down, and we continue to play here. Possession to Atieno inside the center circle. He's bumped into from behind, and that's a foul. As Rochester tries the quick restart, the referee says, no, let's bring it back. As Rochester looking to spring, I think it was Salas on the far side. And they're in this habit, Pat, of really going with quick restarts.
Yeah, depending on the situation, that's obviously an advantage. If you keep the flow of play and keep it quick, obviously that's an advantage. I think that's one thing that I've noticed in tonight. It seems like our speed of play is a little bit better than it was last game, and we got to continue to pick that up. And I think with more confidence and more games, you'll see that speed of play will pick up, and that's an advantage.
Sancho, actually be Kenton with the free kick just inside the Puerto Rico half of the field, 64th minute. Darren Kenton waiting for the whistle. Finally gets the okay, sends the ball into the Puerto Rico box, up in the air. Bill Gaudette bobbles it and then gets possession. As Salas looking there for the garbage ball. Anything that happens, hey, finds the back of the net. It's all that matters.
And that's what I think we need to do a little bit more of, especially with corner kicks. If we can get deep into the corners, then we need to put it across. We have some big guys in the middle, and that they can create some havoc there, and there's always an opportunity when that happens.
Here's Puerto Rico now on the far side. Cabrero. Nice little touch inside, played back outside to Arrieta. Crosses in the box, goes through the arms of Scott Vallow, but Sancho is there at the 6 to neatly clear it away for the Rhinos. Dangerous opportunity there for the Islanders as that ball somehow just snuck underneath the Rhinos goalkeeper, Scott Vallow. And our first substitution coming up here in the 64th minute. It'll be by the Puerto Rico Islanders. Fabrice Noel coming on for Puerto Rico. Minute number 64. Noel, he's a forward. He can score some goals. He's replacing number 10, Peter Villegas. And you look at Fabrice Noel, the 23-year-old Haitian. He has got quite a story as far as his sports background is concerned. He had 2 older brothers that were killed because Noel refused to switch teams in Haiti. And Fabrice Noel now has started a fund to bring the rest of his family over to North America and get them to safety. So talk about sports taking a back seat. I think Noel, a perfect example of that.
That's as bad as Colombia.
Yeah, Haiti and Colombia, not the best of situations, and Noel, probably a good opportunity to get out here and forget about what's happening back in Haiti. So Noel, the 23-year-old coming out, he's played 45 games with Puerto Rico, scored 21 goals. That's not a bad clip.
Well, that's pretty good.
Not a bad clip at all. In the 65th minute now, Fabrice Noel has replaced Peter Villegas. Noel, an all-out forward. Villegas, more of a midfielder. What do you see in that move from Colin Clark?
Well, he wants a spark, so he's brought somebody in that can give him that. Villegas obviously has got a tremendous shot from a distance, so you're losing that in that aspect. But we'll see what happens here.
Villegas has played with the Puerto Rican national team 3 times before they changed the rulings. He has since been declared ineligible to play with Puerto Rico because of his Ecuadorian background. The 33-year-old has been around the world of soccer. 66-minute free kick for Rochester. And now you see Kenny Burtz pushing forward. Huge target in the box for the Rhinos. We'll see if Johnny Menyanger can find the head of number 4. Here's the cross. Inside the 6, Gaudet comes out with a nice little punch. And it's played forward there to Noel. Takes some time looking forward, Noel. Gets some pressure. Goes up to Nicholas Adlery now. And that's a bad touch there by the Puerto Rico Islanders forward. Adlery scored 2 goals last week, the 27-year-old, with a poor touch, giving Rochester a throw-in and a chance to regroup. Puerto Rico very slow coming out on the counterattack.
Yeah, we have to, especially when we get opportunities like that where we're going to move people like Burtz up into the box and get some big guys into the box. We have to drive that ball in there. When you start to put a floater in like that, the opportunity for the goalie to come out and punch it is greater and easier. If you drive it and then he has to hold his line, and then you never know. It could, it might not get hit by one of our players, and as long as it's on goal, it might slip into the goal. So, again, that opportunity where we drive it in and we prevent the goalie from coming off his line is where we can get some goals.
Have not seen that driven ball yet. Hopefully it's still in the arsenal for the Rhinos. Here's Kenny Burtz now on the far side. Long throw and flicked up. Header off. Nano short. And diving save by Bill Gaudet to his left. And that was a good throw-in from Kenny Burtz. That's what we talked about in the first half. And short pushing all the way up. Getting a header opportunity there for the Rhinos.
And again, that ball was not driven in, but it was low and hard, and the goalie can't come out to come and get it.
A lot more zip on that one. Gaudet on this short field, as Coach Erickley has talked about, can send it deep into the Rhinos' box. It'll be a throw-in for the Rhinos. And Puerto Rico, arms up in there. They've had it out for the official tonight. They have been all over him.
Yeah, I think that's the way it was when I was coaching.
Tough place to play, the Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium.
I think they started flying referees from the mainland.
I don't think you have much of a choice after what we saw in year number 1 of the club's existence. Ambersley pops it in the air on the far side. Good ball forward, looking for Johnny Menyanger. But Scott Jones, or I expect that Johnny Krause is there for the Islanders. Sends it out of play. Another throw in deep in Puerto Rico territory. And we'll see if Kenny Burtz gives it another go here.
I mean, it's really about restarts tonight.
Yeah, that's all it is.
The opportunity to get in on our offensive third, and if we can execute, then we'll get a goal.
Nigel Henry with the left foot clears it out of play. Goes to midfield. Menyanger tries to win possession, but he cannot. Here comes Scott Jones, the left-sided defender. He's slowed down here by Ryan Hines. Takes a nice chunk of the field up with him. As you can see, some huge chunks coming up here. Surface not in the best of condition, but much better than we saw at the start of 2003. Played forward now. Here's Mauricio Salas. Tries to turn. He's got 3 orange jerseys around him, and he's got nowhere to go. It'll be a throw-in for the Rhinos. Good job there by Salas, at least to win something for Rochester.
Yeah. He just doesn't look like the same player from last year. It looks like he's still struggling with an injury of sorts. He really just doesn't have the same movement, body movement.
I don't think Salas is 100%. Look for him maybe to come off as we go on here. We are now in the minute number 70. So Salas definitely not 100% yet. We'll see how long he gets to go for the Rhinos and Darren Tilley. So Rochester will have a throw-in on the far side. Players getting a chance to catch their breath. 85th minute. Johnny Menyanger trying to be the peacemaker as Mauricio Salas and Angel Cabrero getting a couple words from the official. Slow things down, settle down, and no cards have come out yet here in Puerto Rico. Ball's played back into play, and it'll be a free kick for Puerto Rico. A lot of calls here. It seems in the second half to slow down the flow of the game. So like Pat said, restarts could be the key here tonight for Rochester and Puerto Rico. The Rhinos opening up their home season on May the 30th. 7:30 kickoff. The Montreal Impact come to town. Season tickets on sale for as low as $99. Call 454-5425. Other sponsors of tonight's broadcast include Marina Dodge and Marina Mitsubishi, located at 941 Ridge Road, Webster. Salvatore's Pizza, the family born and raised in Rochester, New York, and so proud of it. And Smoking and Health Action Coalition, the Smoking and Health Action Coalition. For more information, go to smokefreemonroe.com. All sponsors of tonight's broadcast. Ball bounces up over the head of Atieno, who's had kind of a quiet second half. A lot of Salas touches. Not much from Atieno. Rochester coming in hard with the challenge there, and it'll be a free kick for the Islanders. 2-foot challenge there by Kenny Burtz. Studs exposed, and a free kick for Puerto Rico. So it's going to be John Krause taking the kick for the Islanders just inside his half of the field. 72nd minute. No score. Rochester, I think, would be content with a draw. Ecstatic with a victory. Long ball to the 18. Kind of clicked away there by Ryan Hines, and the referee calling a foul inside the Rhinos box. Free kick for the Rochester Rhinos, and Scott Vallow will take his time. Sancho Hines redirecting traffic here. Kenton looks like he is side by side with Sancho, and Burtz has shifted out to the left side.
Well, we're doing a great job of maintaining our shape and staying compact as a team, especially in our defensive half.
Very impressed with the opening 2 games for Rochester. They've played some very difficult situations, and they've done a very good job. Throwing now for Scott Jones on the near side. Now Cabrero has come back to the near side. Delgado is on the far side. Now good long ball switch to the run of play to Sandy Gabandi on the far side. He's coming forward. Gabandi, right-footed shot up and over the bar. No chance there at all. Really poor angle, poor shot there by the Islanders.
That's what we have to watch out for. The same thing. I mean, the ball was on the left-hand side. We didn't apply good pressure, so they were able to switch the ball over to the opposite side of the field, and that created the opportunity to get forward with it and get a shot off on goal.
Good chance there by Sandy Gabandi, the 25-year-old Liberian, 2007 FC Dallas draft pick. Now with the Puerto Rico Islanders and Colin Clark. You wonder if there's any connection there from the 07 pick. And Colin Clark now the head coach of the Puerto Rico Islanders. And, you know, Colin Clark from Northern Ireland, Jonathan Steele from Northern Ireland as well. No secret that Steele had some trouble really adjusting to life as a professional. But I wonder if the connection, you know, Northern Ireland with Clark and Jonathan Steele has helped him grow as a professional.
I would say, obviously, they've had similar experiences. So Colin obviously gave him, a little, probably a little insight on what he would have to do. And he's probably gone through a similar situation, becoming a professional. So Clark was able to probably instill some of the things or experiences that he had growing up, and turning pro and, what sort of mentality or approach you had to have to the game, and obviously he's made a difference in him.
Huge difference. 2008 MVP Colin Clark, a great coach. Also, Northern Ireland national player, 38 games played, 13 goals scored. So to learn from someone like that, I think has been a huge benefit for Johnny Steele. Vallo, again, we saw this last week, Pat, taking his time, directing traffic, letting the players catch their breath, and again, pulling it off tonight here in Puerto Rico. Here's Gabandy, just inside the rounds, half of the field. Cabrero takes it to his right. He's got Ryan Hines marking him, goes back to the middle to Delgado. Delgado 35 yards out. He's got Johnny Manyanger all over him. Cross from the far side, blocked there by the Rhinos. Puerto Rico with possession still. Adlery trying to turn at the 18. He can't. And it's played back to the outside. Adlery looking for some help here. He's got the ball, plays it back 35 yards out. Adlery, couple touches here in the second half, trying to make something happen. He scored 2 goals last week against his former team, the Vancouver Whitecaps. Adlery, the 27-year-old Jamaican, same situation. He signed with the Virginia Beach Mariners in 2007, along with Colin Clark. The team folded, and then he has joined up with his coach, former coach in Virginia Beach, Colin Clark. Adlery named to the USL Team of the Week with the 2 goals.
He took the pipeline.
We're going to get back to action here. Play slowing down just a little bit from Puerto Rico as balls crossed into the box. Corner kick now for the Islanders. Header up over the bar, and it'll be another goal kick coming up for the Rochester Rhinos. 6 corner kicks apiece tonight in minute number 76. See if Rochester goes to the bench and brings on a few players. Is Joe Giuliano. Pat Erkley, our second game of the year, and Coach, you're making the transition from the sidelines to the booth seamless. Doing a tremendous job.
I always took a little more time dissecting these games, but
you're not putting the same time in for this? Come on, Pat. We'll have to talk about that. You're probably putting more time in, right? Ball's headed back to Bill Gaudette. He plays it to Krause on the near side. Or check that, Scott Jones. Cabrero likes to pop it up in the air. Not the best thing to do when you've got Hines all over your back. It'll be a throw-in for Rochester deep in their half of the field. 77th minute. The Rhinos and Islanders are scoreless. Rochester looking for their first points of the season. Hard tackle there from Kenton. And the Rhinos continue to play here. Atieno trying to win it, but it's popped forward by the Puerto Rico Islanders. Still possessing inside the Rhinos half of the field. Good hard challenge there from Chris Nurse. He wins it to Johnny Manyanger. Getting a little chippy here. The referee lets him play. Well, he's going to call that one, and that's a jersey tug that you'd see from a mile away.
Yeah, you can't fall asleep on Puerto Rico. They've been a team all along over the course of the winter that somehow they pull it out. And so in their minds right now, they still have a level of confidence that, okay, the game's getting near its end, but we can still pull it out. And if you just fall asleep a little bit, they're going to find a way to do that. So we need to stay compact. We need to continue to do things that we've been doing throughout the whole game. And essentially, if we maintain that at some point here, they're going to push forward a little bit more. We might be able to get that counterattack goal.
Let's hope it happens for the Rhinos here. They've got about 12 minutes to do it. And there's no score. Long throw from Kenny Burks. That one slips out of his hand, but it's still inside the 18. And played forward by Atieno, and there's a hard challenge there as John Krause is taken down. Free kick for the Puerto Rico Islanders, 79th minute. And Gaudette showing a little more urgency than the visiting goalkeeper, Scott Vallo. He wants to get the ball back into play quickly here for the Islanders, and he'll take about 10 extra yards as Atieno says, no, get that thing back. He slips, almost deflected by Johnny Manyanger, but it gets through into the Rhinos' half of the field. Hines with a little shoulder challenge there, takes down Noah Delgado. And let's see, a free kick, no card here coming up for the Rochester Rhinos.
These are the situations where you just have to maintain position on the player and not give away free kicks like we just did. I mean, this gives them the opportunity to put the ball in the box, get their main players forward to get in the box.
You called it, Pat. You said restarts are going to be the key. Let's see what they come up with. Gabandi to the corner of the 6, headed away there by Chris Nurse. And it's out of play. Throw in for Puerto Rico on the far side, deep in the Rochester half of the field.
Yeah, there's no need to win the ball, especially in the position that we were in there, and create a foul. As long as we stay goal side of the player and we force them negatively towards their goal, then we're doing our job as a defender or midfielder.
Let's see if the Rhinos can keep up this solid defending here in the 80th minute. No score, long throw-in opportunity coming up from the far side for Puerto Rico. Taking his time, they're getting numbers into the box. Still waiting. That's the perfect setup. Referee is doing a lot of talking tonight. He's having a few words with some more players. Now finally, the long throw-in from the far side. Flipped up in the air, headed away by the Rhinos. Falls at the top of the 18. And there's a hard challenge there coming in with the studs up. Free kick for Rochester. We've got a yellow card, our first yellow card in the 81st minute. It's going to go to Sandy Gabandi for the Puerto Rico Islanders. And it's a long time to get a yellow card. It's been a physical game. The referee has kept the cards in the pocket this evening. Looks like Rochester getting ready to go to the bench. Mauricio Salas coming off in the 81st minute.
Yeah, he gave us more than we actually expected.
Yeah, very surprised that Salas stayed on this long. Andrew Greger coming in, the midfielder who spent some time, Pat, with the Portland Timbers. So Greger replacing.
Actually, he's someone that at later stages of the game like this, we get a free kick up top. He can really make a difference.
Yeah, very crafty player with the left foot. Andrew Greger in the 81st minute coming on for Mauricio Salas. And Salas, like you said, he's out of gas, but he gave us a lot more than we expected. Number 12, Greger, joined Rochester in 2008 in a 3-team deal from the Portland Timbers. Very solid resume in the USL First Division. So Tilly gone to the bench once, Colin Clark has gone to the bench once, and Kenny Burtz with a hard challenge on Sandy Gabandi and wins possession for the Rhinos. Then Younger, back to Greger, who's just come on in minute number 81. Atieno trying to go forward here. Ball is deflected into the box, and Bill Gaudette will safely win possession back for the Islanders. Got about 8 minutes left here. No score, Rochester and Puerto Rico. The Islanders are 1-0. The Rhinos are 0-1. And Puerto Rico knocked Rochester out of the playoffs last year in the semifinals. So Rochester with a little issue at hand here against the Puerto Rico Islanders. Here's Scott Jones. Marked nicely there by Andrew Greger, forcing him back to Nigel Henry. Henry twice has appeared with the Trinidad and Tobago national team. To Scott Jones. Greger does a good job closing the door. Hines comes in with some support from the backside, and Rochester wins a throw-in. Good 2v1 situation there by the Rhinos.
Again, patience, the man being goal side, allowing Greger to come in to be the second man coming in to steal the ball, and we created a throw-in for ourselves.
Another substitution coming up here for the Puerto Rico Islanders. Coming onto the pitch, number 23, Kendall Jagiosing. He is a forward who can score some goals as well. The 22-year-old Trinidad and Tobago player, 29 games played, 7 goals last year for the Islanders. That substitution coming up in the 83rd minute. Jagiosing for the Islanders coming on, and he is all-out forward with a ton of speed coming in late in the match. He's got 7 minutes to create something for Puerto Rico. Offsides the call there. Gaudette, free kick for Puerto Rico. Up in the air. I think Sancho has won every head ball that's come his way tonight. Good header there by Nurse. He's going to push forward for the Rhinos. But the possession goes back to Puerto Rico. Good flick in the air. Scott Vallo comes up off his line. Doesn't even let it bounce inside the 18. And controls play here for the Rhinos. 84th minute, no score in Puerto Rico. Joe Giuliano and Pat Erkley, game number 2 for the Rochester Rhinos. Game 2 of 8 straight on the road. Rochester's back in action on Sunday night. 6 o'clock kickoff, Miami FC. That game is going to be coming from Lockhart Stadium, the former home of Miami FC, or not Miami FC, the Miami Fusion. Is that right?
Yeah.
Miami Fusion and the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Having a little brain skip there. Here comes Gabandi, cross into the box. Valo's coming up off his line. And what a great save by Scott Valo, the Rhinos goalkeeper, sacrificing and winning the ball inside the 6 as Chris Nurse comes out with it for Rochester. Here's Kenton looking for some options. Van Younger checking back, but he goes backwards to Brent Sancho. Van Younger, nice little one-touch here to Hines. Plays it up in there off the Puerto Rico player. Here's Andrew Greger, settles it down with the left foot. 85th minute. No score in Puerto Rico. Trying to go through, but John Krause wins it there for the Islanders. About 35 yards out, dead center of the field. Long ball played forward, headed away there again by Sancho.
Looks like Puerto Rico's starting to show a little urgency now.
5 minutes left. If that's what's going to happen for Puerto Rico, this is great for Rochester.
Yeah.
Scott Jones, foot race, beats Atieno to the ball. Gaudette, shaky little touch there, but does get it to Nigel Henry. Rhinos haven't had a chance to get too close to Nigel Henry and win possession back. Kenny Burt's up with the header. Forward to Chris Nurse. He's crossing midfield with a little bit of space. Now gets closed down. Still trying to push it forward with some speed. He's taken down. And there's going to be a call here. Free kick for the Rochester Rhinos. And hopefully, Pat, for Rochester, this is the restart we talked about.
Exactly.
That makes it happen. Looks like there's going to be a yellow card issued in the 86th minute. Puerto Rico going in the book again for the second time. It's going to be John Krause, the central defender. And a free kick for Rochester from the far side of the field, about 35 yards out. Rochester bringing 1, 2, 3 players in the box. Manyanger looks like he's going to trail at the top of the 18. Another substitution coming up here for Puerto Rico. As Rochester getting ready for the restart.
I always hated to make substitutions, especially when the other team had a corner kick or a free kick. Just because you don't cover, you're used to covering a certain player. Oh, and you just saw it right there. Look we had a great opportunity.
What an opportunity there for the Rhinos, and Atieno's going to want that one back as the ball was served in beautifully. You talked about Greger, the fresh legs coming in, able to serve one on the restart. And Atieno had a beauty last week and another great opportunity tonight that he just sends wide in the 87th minute. That could have put this one away tonight, Pat.
Yeah, what happens is you get a new person on the field. There's a mismatch on who you're covering. You've been covering a certain person for the last 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden a new player comes in and he doesn't know who to pick up, and that was exactly the situation right there. Atieno was open all alone at the top of the 6. He just didn't connect.
What an opportunity there for Atieno to get the first goal of the year for the Rhinos. Just doesn't happen. And Gaudette and the Islanders breathing a sigh of relief, and I heard it in your voice. Oh, just a tough one for Rochester. 88th minute. The substitution, they didn't get a chance to make it. The player is still on the sideline, so they called, I believe it was Arrieta, back to the pitch, and the change was not made yet by Puerto Rico. Approaching stoppage time here. No score, the Rhinos and the Islanders. Getting ready to check in is Martin Nunez, number 9, the crafty midfielder who spent the 2008 season with the Carolina Railhawks. He can create some magic. Look at this ball. Chipped up in the air over Greger.
That's a nice kick out of the stadium.
On that far side, I don't know what's past there.
Unfortunately, we have more than one ball.
Yeah, that's right. It's not the old days where you got to chase the ball down. There'll be another substitution coming up for Puerto Rico. 88th minute, Martin Nunez will check in for Puerto Rico. Cabrero, the 20-year-old, is coming off, and Nunez, 5'5", possesses a lot of magic in those feet, though, Pat. 22-year-old moved from Uruguay when he was 9 years old. Just continued to impress and improve his game.
He's done very well for them, but, again, a little too late maybe. We'll see what happens here.
89th minute in Puerto Rico. There's Nunez, knocked off the ball by Greger. Here's Scott Jones. Adlery to Nunez. He's taken down. The referee says no, we'll play on. He's given Rochester the benefit of the doubt quite a bit tonight. Also, a takeaway about 35 yards out, but the Puerto Rico defender able to recover. Atieno there creating some havoc. Was it Henry that he was going after?
Yeah, it looks like He was doing the cutback.
I'll tell you, you nailed it on the head there. The cutback move almost in the 89th minute, costing the Puerto Rico Islanders. Hard challenge there. We play on. The referee is letting them go tonight. Nurse, long ball into the Puerto Rico half of the field. Played back now to John Krause. He's got a yellow card in the 86th minute. Krause played at Boston College and Vanderbilt. Past 2 years with the Puerto Rico Islanders. Long ball on the far side. Rhinos will clear it out of play. And it'll be a throw-in for the Puerto Rico Islanders. No indication of stoppage time just yet. We are in the 90th minute, and there's no score from Puerto Rico. Another one of those dangerous restarts on the far side. Long throw-in for the Islanders.
Yeah, and they're going to come in a lot more players now. Obviously, it's towards the end of the game.
Gabandi tries to get into the box, and Menyanger will take possession for Rochester. He'll come forward. Can they spring anything happening here? Atieno lets it run by. Nunez gets possession. Forward to Jagdiosig, to Nunez. And it's cleared away by Kenton with great poise and composure inside a very busy 18-yard box. Jagdiosig and Hines getting tangled up. Free kick for the Islanders. Just inside of midfield. Rochester dropping players back. Jones chipping it forward, looking for Nunez. He's way offsides. And we are in stoppage time again. No indication yet from the official. And he's going to let Puerto Rico take the kick once again. This is the third now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable officiating we're seeing here. It's going to be Gabandi.
For a quarter.
What's next? You know, put it in again. You didn't score, try it again. Here's Gabandi. Long cross at the corner of the 6. Up in the air, headed away by Darren Kenton. Right-footed chip into the box, headed away again by Kenton. And the Rhinos' Andrew Gregor takes possession about 25 yards out. Comes to the near side. Long boot there by Ryan Hines into the Puerto Rico half of the field. Menyanger's fighting with Scott Jones. Jones has a jersey. It's actually Delgado and Menyanger fighting for the ball. He plays it now to Scott Jones, the left back for the Puerto Rico Islanders. Trying to come forward. He loses possession. Andrew Gregor will just chip it forward into the corner. And Puerto Rico's Bill Gaudette will let it roll out of play. Goal kick coming up for the Puerto Rico Islanders. We're in stoppage time as the referee checking his whistle. Shouldn't be much more time left here in Rochester, Pat, to get out of here with a tie. I don't want to jinx it, but it would be a very respectable result.
Oh, definitely. This is a confidence builder, and you know you can see they're lofting that ball in trying to get it in behind the Bertz and Sancho. And
there's Nunez, plays inside the 18. Jagdiosig, left foot. Good defensive play there by Sancho to slow him down. Scott Jones, corner of the 18. Near side, gets around Gregor. Hard cross on the ground. Played back to the top of the 18. The Rhinos under some pressure here in stoppage time. Delgado. Cross into the box. No one there for Puerto Rico, and Scott Vallo will get it at the 6. And some scary moments late in the game. We are 3 minutes into stoppage time as the Rhinos waiting for that final whistle. Long punt by Scott Vallo. Atieno, he's taken down. Referee says play on. That's been the theme tonight.
He's letting a lot go tonight.
He really is. It's been a very loose game by the official. Still playing here. Scott Jones, left foot to the top of the 18. One bounce up over Sancho. Bertz wins the ball. There's a foul called inside the Rhinos box, and
yeah, they're not.
That should do it.
They're lofting that ball and trying to get it over Sancho and Bertz's head, and it's just not going to happen. They're winning everything. And then if they're not winning it, then Scott Vallo's right there. So, I mean, that's not going to get them a goal. I mean, they have to get into the corners. They're a shorter team than us right now, and they have to drive the ball across to be able to get some success. And that's not happening because we're covering the corners. And we do have good coverage, and we're compact back in the defensive third of our field. So we're doing a great job this evening, and we really deserve the points.
Absolutely. Nano Short was the player who was down, and he's played a tough 91, 92 minutes this evening, coming in and filling in for John Ball and Danny Earls as Dave DePasquale takes him off the field. I'm sure it's just fatigue, dehydration. 85 degrees, muggy, warm night in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. This should really do it here. Tiger Fitzpatrick is going to replace Nano Short for the last couple of seconds here. Short has done a good job again, filling in for some tough guys from Lynn University. Was the roommate of backup goalkeeper Timmy Melia. And it'll be a throw-in for Rochester on the far side. Again, no urgency here. Rochester knows they've at least got a point. If they can just ride this thing out. For Puerto Rico, a team who had so much pride and so much skill, very flat performance this evening. Ball rolls out of play. Goal kick coming up for Gaudette. Quickly gets the ball from the ball boy. Plays it on this near side to Scott Jones. He's pushing forward. Long ball on the ground. Looking for Martin Nunez. It's out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Rochester. I've got 5 minutes of stoppage time that we've played so far. The referee very generous here with the calls and with the stoppage time.
I think we played 20 minutes one year in Montreal.
Oh. How do you not just want to charge the field at that point, you know?
It was actually our first playoff game.
Oh, unbelievable. And that is going to do it tonight, folks. We've got a final score coming from Juan Ramon Lubriel Stadium. The Rochester Rhinos nothing. The Puerto Rico Islanders nothing. You talk about a scoreless draw, Pat, but it's a good, respectable result for the Rochester Rhinos.
Definitely. I mean, when you have 8 away games in a row at the beginning of the season, if you can come away with points like this, these are wins, and they're confidence builders. I think we played solid defensively. We have a great core back there between Burtz, Sancho, and Vallo. And then you brought in some younger players to fill in for Earls and John Ball that did a great job and show that they deserve to be on the field. So especially when you're playing 2 games within 3 days, that's the depth that you're going to need throughout the course of the season. And, you know, this is going to give Darren some other options. You know, maybe he can push Earl up.
That's true.
You know, he's great to get into corners, and he does deliver a great ball. So if he's playing from a defensive standpoint, he's not going to get forward as much. So this gives him a better look at what he has to work with.
Maybe a blessing in disguise, like Pat said. Maybe some more options coming off for Darren Tilley as we go through 2009. Stick around. We'll come back with more action. The final score tonight, Rochester, Puerto Rico, scoreless. The Rhinos pick up a big point in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. This is the Rhinos Broadcast Network.
Country 107.3 welcomes you to the Rochester Rhinos post-game call-in show. Call 222-9500. Once again, here's Joe Giuliano.
Stick around, post-game show coming up soon. The final score tonight, Rochester and Puerto Rico scoreless, and there were a lot of opportunities tonight for both sides. I thought Rochester really had the better of play as we look at stats from tonight's game. These are very unofficial stats. Shots, Rochester with 8, Puerto Rico with 5. Corner kicks were even tonight, 6 apiece, Rochester and Puerto Rico. And saves, Gaudette credited with 9, and Scott Vallo with 8. Again, those are unofficial stats tonight from Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Time for the post-game awards, the segment of the show that people are dying to hear. And tonight we'll start off with the play of the game sponsored by the Smoking Health Action Coalition. Pat, your play of the game this evening.
I think the play of the game was the save on the line by Short.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was a great shot by a header, actually, deflected off the ground and went up and hit the crossbar, and then Short came in and cleared it off.
So you love to see those defenders come in and back up the goaltender.
That's it. You know, I was a defensive coach.
No, you're kidding. You're kidding. You were the Rigo Saki of American coaches. All right, that's our play of the game. Short with a great goal-saving header off the line. The Lamont Awards save of the game, and
has to go to Scott Vallo. He made himself big there in the second half where they tried to chip it over him, and he was able to get his hands on it, and then I think he deflected another one from that same play. So it was a combination of 2 saves.
Your save of the game, Scott Vallo on Peter Villegas. That's sponsored by Lamont Awards and Apparel. I think I know we're going to go with this one. The Zweigels, Red Hot Player of the Game.
No, there was only really one. Unless you want to give it to Tiger. He came on for a minute.
Yeah.
Andrew Greger.
No, we're doing Player of the Game.
Oh, it's a Player of the Game.
Zweigels, Red Hot Player of the Game.
Oh, Ken, it was. I thought Vallo played a great game. You know, it was. They came out second game, a situation where they were under a lot of pressure against a very quality team, and he was able to control the play, control the game. At times there, he slowed the play up. So he really had a great controlled the players in front of him, so it made a big difference.
Right, your Zweigels Red Hot Player of the Game, Scott Vallo, great choice there. And now your Distillery sub of the game, you gave it away.
Gregor obviously came in, and he had that free kick, and we were talking about that, how that can play a part, and he's the type of player that's going to deliver a very quick ball into the top of the six, and it was so quick that Etienne didn't realize it was coming, and actually he was there all by himself.
What a great opportunity.
Could have won the game.
Yeah, he could have won the game, Etienne, with a great opportunity. So our distillery sub of the game, Andrew Gregor, with a great service that could have really put this one on ice for the Rochester Rhinos. So your final score again from Puerto Rico tonight. Rochester and Puerto Rico are scoreless. The Rhinos are back in action on Sunday. It'll be a 5:30 pregame show, 6 o'clock kickoff from Lockhart Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Stick around. Coming up next, it's the call-in show sponsored by Auction Direct. That's coming up after the break.
Country 107.3 welcomes you to the Rochester Rhinos post-game call-in show. Call 222-9500. Once again, here's Joe Giuliano.
All right, the final stretch of tonight's broadcast, Rochester and Puerto Rico scoreless tonight. So Rochester now over 16 regular season games, 6 wins, 5 losses, and 5 ties against the Puerto Rico Islanders. The number to call, 222-9500, 222-9500. Joe Giuliano, Pat Erkley has been kind enough to stick around with us after a very tough night tonight. The phone line's not cooperating, but we did it the old-fashioned way for 45 and then got back to modern technology the rest of the way.
I know. I think I drained out a battery.
We did it, though, folks. We made it, and we are happy right now that the Rochester Rhinos pick up their first points of 2009 tonight against the Puerto Rico Islanders. Again, 222-9500. Give us a call, and we can chat about what's happening here with Rochester in 2009. So now looking at the USL First Division table for Puerto Rico. They have played 2 games. They are 1-0-1. They've got 4 points. They are currently 2 points behind the Carolina Railhawks. The Rochester Rhinos pick up their first points of the season. 2 games played, 1 loss and 1 tie. And they don't have a lot of time, Pat, to really admire or be all happy about this game because Sunday night they're up in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, typically that second game in a 3-day span is the one where you can you actually pick up your game. But because of the travel they have involved, that may play a little bit in whether they'll be able to, put the same sort of energy into that second game.
How did you approach, these kind of trips where you played a game on a Friday and a game on a Sunday? Is it all out on Friday and see what's left for Sunday, or is it?
No, you try to win both games. You just can't have the mentality that you're going to not put as much into one game and more into another. You look at the people that you have on the team, the stress that your team's going through at that point, and make a determination on what's the best team to field. Typically, though, we tried to stay with the best 11 because even though they may have played a full 90 minutes, like on a Friday and then have to come back, Sunday afternoon, for instance, less than, 48 hours, they're still ready to play. So you don't want to take away their confidence, especially if they did well in the game on Friday. So you want to put them right in there back on the field and give them the opportunity to prove themselves again. And typically we stayed with the same teams and we always had success with it. Some coaches have a different philosophy. They want to bring some fresh legs in, and it doesn't always work well. Especially when, in this case, obviously he doesn't have a stable to deal with.
16 guys, and you get Earls and Ball back on Sunday. But you talked about Puerto Rico's attack tonight. They were playing a lot of balls that were just kind of looping in, nothing very creative. Does John Ball figure into the creative loss in the midfield? Or Jonathan Steele?
I think definitely. I mean, he's a key player for them. Player of the year last year. He's someone that attracts attention. So there's no question that he plays a big part in it. And that was one less player to have to worry about throughout the course of the night tonight. 23-year-old is not in the lineup again. If you're just tuning in, he suffered a thigh injury at the end of February. He is still out, so that's a big loss for the Islanders. But defensively, Sancho and Burtz and Kenton and Short, really tough, solid performance from those guys tonight. Yeah, I mean the whole team that we played compact as a team. We had some good pressure on the flanks. We gave them little space to change the field or the point of attack. When we had the opportunities, especially in the first half, we pushed forward and put ourselves in good situations to score. I mean, Johnny Younger had a tremendous shot there from 10 yards out, and it was a great save by Godet. And so I think all in all, it was a good game. There's a lot of positive points that you can take from this game and build on them.
Mike Amersley, he was out all last season, and he was a terror in the first half, and I thought he played a great game, found a lot of space. And before you reply, just let me throw the number out there again, 222-9500. Get some calls in here, or we're going to have a light post-game show. Amersley, though, talk about him tonight.
He did well. The first half, he pushed up well and put himself in a position to either get a shot on goal or get deep into the corner and put some crosses on goal. And, we developed some opportunities from them. And if we didn't, we did push them back into their end of the field. And I think both, for the most part, on his opportunities, we got a lot of corner kicks.
Absolutely. Corner kicks were abundant tonight, 6 apiece for Rochester and for Puerto Rico Penn. It's been a very busy night, but Rochester now goes into Miami on Sunday. I didn't see what the result was there with Miami and Montreal, but they're going to have their hands full. Diego Serna, who was a handful in Major League Soccer. I thought maybe the tank was empty, but he scores 2 goals last week. He gets the USL Player of the Week, so he's going to be another handful for Bertz and Sancho, who have had Adlery and Bundu, and now Diego Serna to deal with.
Yeah, it seems again we're solid in that position. I mean, with Bertz and with Sancho, and they're big players, they're solid players. So I think they're more than capable of keeping a handle on Serna. But he's come back with a vengeance. Obviously, he's shown that he's a quality player. He did so well in the MLS, and now to play at the level to come down, or what's considered to come down. I don't know. He's believed in that, but in his mindset, maybe it is a step down.
What do you think about that transition from the MLS to the USL? Is it more of a physical game, or what's he going to see?
Yeah, I think that the game is different. There's no question. I think there's more of a crossing type of game, a more physical game, where the game isn't as quick, and it's not really about through passes and speed. It's more about flank play and crosses and physical play. But he's a physical player, so that isn't an issue with him. I think that's the type of game that he had in Miami.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as we see, I guess they're up 2-1, or
it's a final score. Pat,
yep.
You talked about hoping Miami wins with Rochester coming in there. Miami's a little overconfident, but Serna did score, but he got a red card in the 90th minute.
Oh, that hurt.
A lot. I think Darren Tilley's going to be doing some cartwheels when he sees that. He picked up a red card in the 90th minute. Leo Ignacio Nunez also scoring. And former Rhino Eddie Sobrango scoring for Montreal. So, wow, all sorts of things going on here. Serna scores, but he gets ejected, so Rochester with one huge striker less to deal with.
So it's 4 yellow cards and 1 red card. A typical Montreal game.
3 yellow cards to 2 yellow cards to Miami, 2 to Montreal, and then the red card looks like a straight red to Diego Serna. I would love to know what the situation was there. That game was on Fox Soccer Channel, so I'll have to go back and see if we can catch some highlights there. But Montreal at FIU Stadium falling to Miami FC. Again, 2 weeks to prepare for the season. They win last week, they win tonight, and this may be a team that is going to surprise people.
No, and we talked about this too before the season, that you got a team like Montreal and a team like Puerto Rico that have played all winter long. Now they're coming into the season, and maybe at the beginning of the season they're going to be ahead of everybody, but as the season wears on, that's going to be tough to maintain. That level of play is going to be difficult to maintain throughout the whole season, especially when you start to factor in many games. And fatigue starts to play a part in that later on from a mental standpoint. And I think Puerto Rico and Montreal, you might see that there'll be teams that they'll be losing some games that you wouldn't expect.
Depth is going to be the key. And Pat, again, great job in the broadcast booth. Pleasure to work with you. And I guess Sunday we'll give you the night off. We had a tough one tonight, but Sunday the door is always open if things change and you want to be a part of the broadcast again. It will be great to have you here as Rochester picks up their first point of the season We're going to wrap up the call-in show with no calls tonight, 222-9500. Where are the soccer fans? Well, hopefully when we get home to Rochester on May the 30th, they'll be calling in abundance. Final score, Rochester and Puerto Rico, 0-0. 5:30 pregame show on Sunday, 6 o'clock kickoff from Lockhart Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. For Pat Erkley, our producer, Harry, I'm Joe Giuliano saying good night on the Rhinos Broadcast Network.
Country 107.3 is WROO, South Bristol, Rochester's only station for continuous country music without all the talk. Country 107.3.